Welcome everyone. Join me on playing Wayfarer. Game is currently in early access. It was made by Idril Games, indie developer. You can find this game on itch.io, or if you go on her Patreon, I believe it's her. If it's him, I apologize if you ever hear about this. But if you go on their Patreon, you'll be able to get access to this early access alpha for episode 3. Also want to mention there's currently only 3 episodes right now in this game. They plan to develop this a lot more to where it expands into different acts. So right now, currently in the current set, you're looking at about maybe 10 to 15-ish hours if you just slow roll and casually go through this game. But we're going to start a new game just so I can show everyone why I like this game personally. I've been playing this for maybe about 2 years now. I had to dip into interactive novels while I was searching for games to play, and this one kind of stuck with me. I like the setting, I like the choices. It plays sort of like a D&D campaign in a sense, but it's got its own unique themes to it. But enough talking, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with a new game. I am going to play without tutorials. Now in the newest update, which is episode 3 alpha, they did redo the prologue and some other stuff in the beginning, so it is a little bit different. If you played this before and was waiting for a while for some major changes, now is a good time to jump into it. So also, if you can't tell, this game does have character creation. Your choices do matter. So however you design your character, however you want them to be in your mind for your perfect setting, make sure you are set with that, because some options do come back later on to play in the story and your options as far as what you can do and how people perceive you in the world. But moving forward, we will be in male. I am he, him. Alright, then we have 5 races to choose from. We have humans, dwarves, elves. I don't want to butcher your name, I'm sorry. And the Ada. So if you're playing a fantasy game, you know these 3. This one right here, we'll call them the male. They are a humanoid race that have the ability to have sea breathing and I think also night vision as well. I can't remember specifically. And then the Ada are ones that humanoids that have wings and I think better hearing. Each race has different attributes to make them special, and then bonuses you get to your stat rolls. So I like to play as human, so that's what we'll be going for. But I will go ahead and quickly showcase all the options you guys have here, so that way if you guys want to kind of watch this and get a game plan how you want to build your own playthrough, then you can do that. Alright, so we'll be going with human. It'll get bonus perception and persuasion. And because we're humans, a bunch of other humans, we also are easier to blend into crowds in cities. Alright, and then more character creation stuff. I think most of them is pretty much set. I usually play brown eyes, dark brown hair, shoulder length, hair length, and we have coily hair. And clean shave. Alright. For height, I've always been stuck between tall and very tall. I don't have accurate measurement as far as like the American system, as far as inches how tall this is. I imagine tall would be like 6 foot, very tall, like 6'5". I'm just gonna put very tall because the character right here, Alexia, she is considered tall. I feel like I'll be taller than her. All right, and then use just a review page so you can look over finally all your character stats and what you made to grade it. Any changes you want to make, just go over and confirm. But I think we're all good here, and we can move on. Remember, failure is not the end, it is merely another beginning. This is actually very true. So, it is okay to fail in this game. I've done a bunch of times, save scumming. If you are a heavy save scummer, you can do that too, but there is some benefits in failing some stuff. Well, to see other options. In the southern mountains of Artanis, two children travel down a dark forest road. Watched over by a sturdy guardian, they hurl towards a destiny neither expects. It is winter 1231. The covered cart bounces along the mountain path. You make a face and grit your teeth. I'll move my mouse to the side a little bit, sorry. One corner of the canvas tore loose a little while ago and now flaps noisily in the wind. Outside, a dark forest and an even darker mountain spreads beneath a sea of stars. There's nothing else here. There's only snow and stars and the endless night. The oxen snorts and groan from the front of the cart, urged onward by their driver. Bored and cold, you turn away from the exit and huddle into the fur-lined cloak around your shoulders. It isn't yours. It belongs to a surly dwarf at the head of the cart, and it doesn't fit you very well. A small dagger in a worn leather sheath hangs awkwardly from your belt, pressed uncomfortably against your side. Another gift from the dwarf, something he insists you take just in case, when you left your home all those weeks ago. The journey, he said, will be long, and you never know what surprises wait for you on the road. At least you have a light. A single lantern swings from the center bow, forward, back, forward, back. You watch it, following the light as it passes over the sacks of supplies strapped down for transit to your new travel companion. The lanky elven boy joined the cart this morning when you left Tyridia, the big city at the foot of the mountains. Senric grumbled quite a bit about it, but it seemed important that he join you. But after a quiet hello, he went right to sleep, and now he's snoring, his head lolling around on his shoulder, unbothered by the cart's jostling. If only you could sleep. Continue. You look out the back of the cart, eyes drawn to the lights as distant as the stars. The cart passed through the last town with no thought stopping, and as the lights vanish into the night, so does your chance at hot food and a warm bed. Your stomach growls pitifully at the thought. You wonder whether you should say something to your testy escort, but you think better of it. He fully expects you to be asleep right now. He said hours ago that your destination is close and he will wake you when you arrived. Not your fault you can't sleep. It's cold. So cold you can see your breath rise in the light of the lanterns. The cart is uncomfortable. You're in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people, and that loose flap is far, far too loud. Trying not to think about food, you adjust your cloak and crawl towards the back of the cart. Balancing precariously on the edge, you stick out your hand and reach, fingers clawing at the flap. You catch it. The cart hits a bump. A muffled scream rips from your throat as you fall towards a craggy road. Someone grabs you and yanks on your cloak, pulling you back in. You collapse on the floor, your breath coming in ragged gasps, feeling every pit and rut on the road as the cart rolls on. Slowly, you push yourself up and stare at the boy who saved you. He sits cross-legged with his back against a large sack, his fur cloak pulling around his gangly frame. His pale face is flushed, the tip of his nose red from the cold. Pointed ears stick out from under a long mop of unruly sandy brown hair, and his eyes are blue and earnest. He's around the same age as you, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. It's hard to tell. Thank you. The boy's smile brightens. You're welcome. I'm Aaron, by the way. You nod and push yourself up, scooting backwards so your back rests against the edge of the cart. Your heart flutters in your chest, leftover panic from your near miss refusing to let go. What were you trying to do, by the way? He asks. You respond, nothing. Oh, I see. He looks away, fidgeting with his cloak as he tries not to stare at you. You pause. I do mean it. Thank you for saving me. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to fall out and roll all the way back to Taurian. Senric wouldn't be pleased. Rendon Senric, the cranky dwarf driving the cart. You should know his name by now. You've been traveling with him for a while. But when you're on your own, you keep calling him the cranky dwarf. When he met you, he said you were important and that he was taking you to the Wayfarer order. Your eyes narrow. You talk a lot. Has anybody ever told you that? And you're grumpy. Has anyone ever told you that? You stare at each other in silence, but you can't hold out for long. A grin splits from ear to ear and you and Aaron dissolve into laughter. The cart pulls to a stop. Hey. A moment later, the cranky dwarf rounds the back of the cart. He's old. His shoulder-length brown hair is streaked with gray and swept back into a tail. In the flickering lantern light, you can make out the jagged scars that run down the left side of his face, turning his eye into an ugly lump of scar tissue. He looks a little like a tree stump. Senric eyes the pair of you. We're several leagues from the spire, and these mountains are dangerous, he barks. You don't know what lurks out there in the dark. There are many things in these woods, things that are drawn to light and, more importantly, sound. Quiet down. Yes, sir, Aaron says, scrambling to sit upright. He elbows you in the side and you nod in agreement. The old dwarf's expression softens. Look, you two, I'm glad you warmed up to each other and you're chattering now, but I'm quite serious when I say it is important that you keep your mouth shut. And the best way to do that is to go to bed. I'll let you know when we're there. With a sigh, he tromps away, his footsteps trudging alongside the cart until he hoists himself back up into the box seat. The oxen snort and grumble, and the cart trundles along. You stare at your hands, twisting your fingers together. The past month has been a blur. If someone asked you to recount the events of a single day in your journey so far, you would no doubt disappoint them. Every day has been the same. The landscapes may have changed around you as you travel further and further south, but nothing else has changed. You don't even know what the Wayfarers want with you. It is difficult to wrangle words out of Senric on a good day. Even when he does speak to you, he's light on details. All you know is that you're headed to a place called the Spire, and it is very, very far away. Memories of the life you lived before this journey hit you, unbidden and unwanted. You retreat further into your cloak as you sift through your memories of the child you were before this journey. Alright, so now we're going to choose our origin. You have 6 to choose from. Just like with the races, they each give you bonuses to your attributes and also flavor to your background and your character. So I'll quickly go through each one of them so you guys can see it, and now I'll pick mine. Alright. So initially when I first played this game, I went with the Child of the Desert because it was more of a warrior background. I'm not super confrontational, but I like to be able to handle myself when confrontation comes, which there will be some instances in the future, spoiler alert. But I wanted to change things up a little bit differently. So I think I will go with Child of the Streets for this perception bonus. You do need all stats in this game for your roles, but for how I like to handle situations, mainly agility, strength, perception are my main three. Persuasion usually be my dump stat. So we'll go with Child of the Streets. That's who you were. But is that who you have to be? Not anymore. Restless, Aaron taps his fingers along the floor of the cart. The sound draws you out of your thoughts. Think you're going to sleep? He whispers. You shake your head. He grins. Me neither. So you know my name. What's yours? And now we choose our name. Alright, write a little Asura. And once we're done, we confirm. If you struggle to pick out a name that you find you like, or just bad making names, the developer was nice enough to give you some ones for a setting. So you have male name, well, masculine names, feminine names, and then you have gender neutral. If you couldn't tell already, this game is very I don't know a proper way to say it. It's very open with how you want to be defined in the world and the setting. Alright, so we confirm. Aaron smiles. Hi, Raylo. He sounds out, struggling for a moment with the shape of the sounds. Wherever he is from, he must not speak Arsenian. Your name is the only thing you have left of your parents, whoever they were. Hi, you reply cautiously, smiling back. So where are you from? We decide to tell the truth. I'm gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry. Nesectium. Nesectium? You reply quietly. Where's that? It's the capital of Arsenia, a country to the north. You pull your cloak tighter around your shoulders. It's a big city, loud, too many people, not like here. You glance out the back of the cart, staring at the splash of stars in the night sky. You don't remember seeing the stars like this back home. It's quiet here. Aaron nods and pulls his knees into his chest, wrapping his arms around them. I know what that's like. Tyridia's loud too. Everyone's pushing and shoving, and they're mad all the time. He makes a face. I've never ever been outside the city before. This must be the first I've ever been from home. You reply, you never left until now? Why? He shrugs. It's hard to leave when you're surrounded by walls. You nod. The slums of Sanctum are a labyrinth you never thought you'd escape. You know all too well what it feels like to be trapped by the walls of civilization. You fall silent, mulling things over. He's trying to be friendly, and maybe you shouldn't blame him for that. You've been on the road for so long, just you and Senric, and the dwarf doesn't say much. You're lonely, but that doesn't mean you want to be friends with some random boy who unexpectedly joined you on your journey into the mountains. Why is he here? And why did Senric make such a big fuss earlier about stopping to get him? The cart trundles on. You and Aaron sit in silence for some time, jostled to and fro by the bumps in the road. It might be your imagination, but it seems to be getting worse, as if the higher you climb, the more worn out the road becomes. Does anyone come here anymore? Where are you going? The winding path hits a steep incline and you hear Senric muttering to the oxen. You can swear he asked them to stop complaining. The beasts still intimidate you. You have seen such animals from a distance before arriving in Artanis, but never up close. You're still surprised at how big they are. Still, after a few weeks of traveling by cart, you've gotten used to them and their cute, squishy faces. You can understand why Senric, as much as he grumbles about them, is very fond of them. Do you know much about the Wayfarer order? Aaron asks after a moment. You shake your head. I've never heard them until Senric showed up. You pause, rubbing the back of your neck with your hands. You're stiff all over. You want to get out of this cart. Do you know much about them? Sure. Yeah. They come from Tyridia all the time. They come through Tyridia all the time. Everyone knows about them. They're warriors, or hunters, or something. They deal with things no one else can. People respect them, but they also stay away. Let them do what they need to. They do all sorts of things, but they're different, and some people hate them for it. Because they don't have magic? Yeah. Like Wayfarers, you don't have magic. Not a hint, not a spark. It's not that this is simply absent either. Plenty of people have weak magic, but still manage to get by. You, on the other hand, are immune. More than immune. Enchantments break around you. Spellwork fails. You can cause a lot of problems simply by existing. There's a word for what you are, but you can't remember what it is right now. Magianus? Magiani? No, something else. You remember when a man in Rose spat on you and called you a curse. Regardless, your natural immunity is the reason why you're here. It's why Senric traveled all the way to seek you out. No matter how hard you try, you will never live a normal life. You chew a fingernail and watch Aaron carefully. Your childhood taught you to be cautious about who you revealed this information to. Some were indifferent, others paid you, and some... You swallowed the lump in your throat. You'd rather not think about that. You decide to admit you don't have magic, and if you're headed for the Wayfarers and you don't have magic, then maybe the same is true for him. I don't have magic. Your heart pounds in your chest as you wait for a reply. Aaron looks away, hugging his knees even closer to his chest. He doesn't say anything for a long time. The silence is unbearable. Me either. Me neither. His words hit you hard. You look at him, eyes wide, seeing him smile. You smile back. The car dips, its wheels rolling through a rut in the road. You lurch forward, knees banging against the floor. Your hand jerks out and grabs the edge of the cart, and you catch yourself before you fall flat on your face. Your teeth are rattled, your knees bruised. You're getting very tired of traveling, and very tired of this cart. You cast an eye at Aaron, and he seems relatively unruffled. He's on his knees, hands planted in front of him, and he stares out the back of the cart, mouth agape. He sniffs and absently rubs his nose with the back of his hand. "Look," he says. You look at the back of the cart. "What?" You blink, falling silent. You crawl forwards, shimmying to the back to get a better look. A curtain of light surges across the night sky in a flickering dance. It shimmers, its green glowing royal, and swirling through the stars. You can't see where it begins or ends. You watch, open, as the lights dance their celestial dance. What is that?" you ask. "The southern lights," Aaron replies, scooting up beside you. You can't usually see them from Tyridia, but I've heard travelers talk about them. You gape awestruck. Whew, Lord, I'm sorry. These words. The Mycidium say they're a blessing from the Hexatheon, that they favor all who travel beneath the light to source's ends, wherever that means. He rests his hands on the lip of the cart and sticks his head out from under the canvas canopy. "My foster father always said that was bullshit. The lights are natural, not magical," though he didn't want to explain how he knew that. You know the Mycendium. Their temples were the best place to find food and shelter, though that sometimes became a danger. You remember all too clearly the gang of youths who hung around the exit, waiting to jump anyone who left the Mason's care. "I don't know," he adds after a moment. "I like the idea that something that doesn't need magic to be, well, powerful." You sit back on your heels, knees folded beneath you. The light swirls above and a patch of violet ripples through the green. "Yeah," you whisper. "I like that." Together, you cling to the back of the cart and watch the lights dance. They roam in the night sky, their patterns unpredictable. You try to guess where they will move next, pointing at different spots in the sky, but you always guess wrong. Aaron laughs, muffling the sound by pressing a hand over his mouth. You can't help the grin that spreads from ear to ear. The oxen bray in distress as the car abruptly jolts to a stop. Samric mutters inaudibly, calming them. Aaron shoots you a puzzled look. "What's going on?" he mouths. You spread your hands and shake your head. "Should we take a look?" he adds. You decide to slip out the cart and see what's going on. "Yeah," you whisper. You heave yourself over the edge of the cart and drop onto the road. Frozen mud crunches beneath your feet as you land on the path. Aaron follows, keeping close. "Turn back, traveler," a voice yells. "The road ahead is closed." "Closed?" Samric growls. "You can't close the road." "It's closed. Turn back." "Oh, for the love of..." "Listen, I don't know what you've been told, but sometimes there are exceptions. Whoever has you out here freezing your ass off to guard a middle of nowhere checkpoint may have left out a few details. Wasting my time is a waste of yours. Let me through." "I can't do that." "Return to Talaran, stranger," or... "Stranger? I'm no stranger to these woods. This area has been my home for close to 200 years. You crouch down and quietly while he moves around the side of the cart. 2 lanterns are propped on the driver's box. Senric sits in the seat, clutching the reins in his gloved hands, a thick wool blanket covering his lap. He stares ahead, glaring at the 2 sentries standing in front of the oxen, spears crutched in their hands. They don't look old, maybe a year or 2 into adulthood, but to be honest, you have a hard time telling adults apart from each other unless they're very old. Though they are cloaked in heavy winter gear, you can make out a flash of armor beneath the shabby furs and wool, dented and rusted, just like the cloaks are worn in threadbare. From the sorry state of their gear and the nervous way they carry themselves, they look more like regular people than trained soldiers. The road ahead is barricaded. The dilapidated banner is erect from off the ground, its dark flag flapping loosely in the wind. Further away, a short, squat lodge is tucked beneath the snowdrifts, between the snowdrifts. It is well lit, with flickering lamps in the windows and lanterns hung from the brackets along the wall. Like most lights conjured by magic, the light is bright and cold, very different from natural warmth of the fire and Senric's lamps. Rows of icicles cling to the cave. I'm sorry. Does that cling to the cave? This font is messing me up. You can change the font too. I think that says eaves. Cling to the eaves, peeking from under a foot of snow. I'm not going to argue with you, old man, the sentry on the right says. Though he is partially obscured by a giant scarf and a fur-lined cap, you can make out a pale face with a wispy beard underneath. He grinds the end of his spear back and forth in the snow. No one is coming this way, no matter how long they've lived in these woods. This is by the magistrate's orders, the sentry on the left replies with the monotone sound of someone reciting a script. She holds her arms swiftly to her sides, brown eyes fixated on Senric. We are here to enforce it. Enforce it against whom? Tauren is the last settlement on this road. There's nothing beyond it except, for the last time, sir, please turn back. Senric curses under his breath. God damn it all. Do I have to spell it out for you? He stands abruptly, throwing off the blanket and drawing his sword. The water blade shines silver white in the lantern's light. The sentry on the right hisses and drops into a defensive stance, pointing her spear at Senric. Damn wayfarers. She grunts, spitting on the ground. Put your sword away, old man. This area is closed. The Imperial Guild of Mages. You can't close the woods, girl. While the nosy part of me wonders what the hell the guild is doing here and how they put the local militia up to this, I am tired and I don't care enough to find out. I'm sure Brissa will tell me tomorrow. He sheaths his sword and sits down. Blockade or not, I am going home. This isn't a blockade. Senric picks up the reins. This is an unearthly howl rips through the air. The sentry spins around, clutching her spear. The other raises his head, looking to and fro as he desperately traces the sound of the noise. The sound echoes through the valley a second time. What was that? The young man asked shakily. Aaron nudges you and points at something beyond the blockade. You follow his gesture, but can't see anything through the darkness. What is it? You mouth. His eyes widen. You can't see it? I can't see in the dark. Without warning, he pushes you face first into the snow and shoves you under the cart. With your breath knocked from your lungs, you roll onto your side and watch Aaron slide under after you. What? He covers your mouth with a gloved hand. Shut up, he hisses. Any further protests die at the back of your throat. The oxen bray with unease, their hooves stamping fiercely on the ground. The cart creaks as Senric steps out of the driver's box. You watch his boots crunched on the ground, the tips of his scabbard hovering inches from the snow. "Fall back," he bellows. "Now!" The young man stutters. "But now?" Two pairs of boots backtrack towards the cart. The creature, wherever it is, unleashes another howl, one that shakes you to the bone. The oxen bray and stamp their hooves, but do not bolt. Your stomach twists. Cernric says the roads were dangerous, but he never explained why. Aaron is too frightened to describe what he saw. You need to know what's out there. Knowing may be terrifying, not knowing is 1,000 times worse. You shuffle to the front of the cart, snow clumping around you as you wiggle forward. Aaron grabs at your cloak, silently, pleading with you, "Stop," but you wave a hand at him. Slowly, you turn your face sideways and peer out. Cernric stands in the center of a pool of light, sword drawn, fur-lined cloak billowing in the wind. He is calm, collected, ready to strike. There is something almost heroic in his stance, in the way he holds his blade, completely at odds with surly temperament you've come to know. And then a giant claw swipes out in the darkness and knocks him into a snowbank. Your jaw drops. The young woman screams. The creature breaks through the barricade, smashing the wood to pieces, and lands in the center of the light. It's huge, far larger than an ox, larger than 2 oxen put together. It has a feline face with powerful open jaws and a head crowned with the thin, jagged antlers. Its body is covered with white fur, but its limbs are black and scaled, each ending in dark claws. A long, scaled tail curves away from its body, curling up like a scorpion tail. It snarls, blue gunk dripping between its teeth, and paces back and forth. Its luminous blue eyes search the clearing. You have an eerie sense that this thing is unnatural, wrong. His tail unfurls and lashes out in a wide circle. The oxen scream and collapse in a spray of blood. Your stomach hurls, and you slap a hand over your mouth to keep from retching. It's the worst thing you've ever seen. What is that? "Fanarl," Aaron replies hoarsely. "They're from the deep south. They don't usually come this far north, but when they do," you swallow hard. Is Cernric dead? I don't know. The Fanarl screeches. The sound pierces your ears and you slam your hands over him. The creature's tail swings back and around, slashing through the top of the cart. Timbers crack and the canvas covers, frame and all, collapse inward. The tail swings around for another pass. You're going to die here, aren't you? You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die. Something grabs your feet and yanks you backwards. You scream, kicking desperately as you dragged out from under the cart. You flail, rolling back and forth, and your assailant shoves a gloved hand over your mouth. It's one of the sentries. "Shh," he whispers. "It's all right. It's going to be all right." "It's not all right," the young woman interrupts. She crouches beside him, huffing breathlessly as she pulls Aaron from the wrecked cart. Her spear lies beside her in a pocket of snow. "I can't believe that Wayfarer was traveling tonight with children." The tail crushes through what remains of the cart, smashing it to pieces. On the far side, the Fanarl paces back and forth. His grinning jaws widen even further. His claws shimmer in the snow. "Hey, ugly, you're looking the wrong way," the creature hisses, churning up snow as it spins around. Cernric stands on the other side of the clearing, looking a little winded but otherwise fine. His cloak is shredded on the left side, but his armor is unscathed. He falls into a defensive stance, silver white sword shining bright. The Fanarl leaps, claws extended. He dodges to the side, his blade slicing through the air. The creature lands in the mountain snow, bright red blood oozing from a wound. It howls and spits incense. The cart and everyone behind it are forgotten. Now, the young woman hisses, grabbing her spear. Move it! The four of you bolt for the tree line, keeping low. Ahead of you, the young man stumbles, falling flat on his face. His companion reaches for him and pulls him up, shoving him towards the tree line. She turns back and grabs your hand, tugging you through the snow. Gasping for breath, you reach safety and dive behind a tree trunk. A hand pressed to your chest. Your heart pounds. You can't stop shaking. At last, the young woman reaches the trees with Aaron. She pushes him further back into the woods, then crouches behind the closest tree and sticks her head out to survey the clearing. Shit, she mutters. Shit. The other sentry crawls through the snow and crouches next to her. If we wait long enough, maybe it'll go away. As if we'd be that lucky. There's only one thing we can do now. Get to Talaran and get help, rouse the militia, and endanger everyone by leading it right to them? It's distracted by that Wayfarer. It won't notice us. How can you be sure? Melisara, help you, she sighs. Alright, if we can find that Archsage, get his people's help. We don't know where they are. They left this morning. They could be anywhere. Anywhere, somewhere, she groans, closes her eyes, sinking into the snow with her back against the trunk. I knew this was going to be shit. The moment they show up, I knew this was going to be shit. Why does Talaran have to be dragged into this? Fine. Maybe we can run, get a message to the Spire. The Order can send a hunting party. No, we're not dealing with any more fucking Wayfarers. The sentry's argument makes little sense to you, and their voices are grating on your ears. Ignoring them, you crawl over to Aaron. He lies on his back and stares at the soaring pines, their branches so dark they appear black in the night. The southern lights gleam green and violet, their dance undisturbed. What we do, you whisper. He sits up and brushes snow and pine needles from his shoulders. I don't know. You peek out from behind the trees. The snow in the clearing is trampled and the streaks with blood from the slaughtered oxen and wounded Fenarl. Your lips quiver as you gaze passes over the dead animals, but you shove the awful feeling down. Senric circles the monster, steady and patient, waiting for an opening. It watches him closely through slitted eyes, hissing and spitting the blue gunk across the ground. Without warning, he darts forward to land a strike. The creature's tail lashes around in a protective, lethal circle. He retreats, narrowly avoiding the blow. We have to do something, you murmur. Your hands fall to your side, gripping the small dagger attached to your belt. You know how to use it. You're not going to let yourself get eaten by that thing, not without a fight. What do you know about Fenarls? How do we kill them? Aaron stares at you. You don't. But what if you could? I don't know. Anytime there's a sighting, the Tyridian guard sends out warnings and keeps people away from the area until it moves on. Sometimes hunters try to deal with them, but they only really go away if they get a Wayfarer from the Spire. A Wayfarer like Senric? Yeah, I guess so. The blue stuff in his jaws is some kind of magical venom. A Wayfarer wouldn't have to worry about that, but they're still fast. Their claws and tails are deadly. I think that's more of a problem than their magic. His voice fades away. Meanwhile, the sentries are still arguing. They're as clueless as you are, maybe even more. You clutch the hilt of your dagger. An idea is forming in your mind with several ideas, if you're being honest, and all of them are terrible. But at this point, what choice do you have? So we have our first stat roll option. So like I said earlier, this is like a D&D campaign where you get to roll based on your ability scores. I get something to drink. Strength option. You have a dagger, you know how to use it, and you're not sure how to, and you're sure you have the strength to help Senric land a killing blow. You grip your dagger and take a step forward. Aaron grabs your arm. What are you doing? Helping. You tear free and charge towards the clearing. The sentries yell at you, come back to the trees, but you plunge forward undeterred. Neither have the courage to come out and stop you. The cold wind bites at your cheeks as you wade through the snow, keeping to the shadows as you circle around behind the Finarl. You keep your eyes ahead, trying your best not to look at the ox and carcasses. Senric holds his ground in the center of the clearing. He slashes forward. The creature is too fast. He leaps back and his blow comes up short, striking nothing but the air. It hisses and leers, blue gunk oozing from his teeth and dripping onto the blade snow. His tail lashes around. He ducks, throwing himself to the side. You reach the far side of the clearing. The creature spits. Venom sprays across Senric's face and chest. Clinging to his cloak and his armor, he falls back unable to see and desperately wiping at his eyes with one hand. The Finarl lowers itself to the ground, preparing to pounce. You strike. In the moment before everything goes wrong, you don't know what your intentions are. Maybe if things were different, you could have pulled yourself on top of the creature's back and started stabbing wildly. This is not what you dreamed up in your mind. This is now, and now you have overestimated your strength. You slam into the creature's flank and topple over into the snow. Shit. Senric curses. The Finarl whirls around, its jaws open wide above you. You lie frozen on the ground, heart in your throat, and stare up. Blue saliva oozes from his teeth, dripping onto your face. A distant part of your mind absently counts the rows of teeth, too terrified to comprehend that this is how you die, stuck in the snow, eaten by a monster. You clutch your dagger to your chest. Rilo! The strike of a blade, the howl of an animal. So we got this option because we failed the dice roll for a strength check. Which, because of the background I chose, I should have really chose agility for a better roll, but moving on. Dark blood splatters across your face. You stare in shock as the Finarl whirls around and vanishes from sight. Leaping to the far side of the clearing, a hand appears and drags you up, and the next thing you know, Senric is pulling you into his arms. Ah, kid, he says as you tremble and shake. It's alright now, it's alright. You bury your face in his shoulder, your head in his shoulder. His armor and cloak are battered, and the creature's venom has burned through his furs in place. He seems unbothered by it. I know what you were trying to do. Thank you. That was pretty brave, but stupid. You choke back a sob. But we're not done here yet. Come on, let's get you up. You nod, blinking back tears. With his assistance, you retreat behind the smashed remains of the cart and sit down, still clutching your dagger tight. Senric falls silent and peers around the cart, watching the wounded Finarl. A moment later, a dark figure shuffles through the snow and Aaron appears, dropping down into a crouch next to you. They're gone, he pants. They went to find help. Senric turns around. Who? The sentries? Yeah. Well, it's better than having them underfoot here. Damn militia. He sighs wearily, shaking his head. Listen close, you two. This is what you're gonna do. Keep an eye out for each other and get to that lodge. I want you barricade in there if things go sour. A Finaro can easily outrun you, and they can track a scent over leagues. It's pointless to run now. Better wait for it to lose interest. Understand? Aaron nods. You're still too shocked to answer. The wounded Finaro howls. Get going. I'll keep you safe. I promise. Without further comment, Senric steps around the side of the cart and raises his sword. Looking a little ugly there, eh? Ugly? He shouts. You run for the lodge, Aaron sprinting alongside at your side. Though you're pretty sure he could outrun you if he wanted, he keeps pace with you. You're several feet from the lodge where a terrible noise sounds behind you. A glance over your shoulder and you spot Senric backing away from the beast. He's winded, covered in blood, and finally staying on his feet. He retreats, creating as much space as he can, and throws something small and dark into his hand. You don't know what it is. A moment later, a brilliant red light bursts high in the sky. Senric, you shout. The Finaro swings around, his attention drawn by your yell. It stares right at you and begins to pad its way through the snow. Fear strikes your heart. You hurtle through the snow to the lodge. Yanking the door open with all your might, you and Aaron slip through and slam it shut together. Boom. He lets out a nervous laugh and sinks to the floor. You sit beside him, breathing heavily. Come on. We can't just sit here. Senric said to barricade the door. Your body is shaking even as you speak. You really can't stay still. Aaron doesn't move. You elbow him gently on the side. Aaron. He bows his head, unable to look at you. I don't know what this is, he says at least. How can he be more terrified than you? There's a monster that wants to kill us, and now we're trapped in the house. The only thing between it and us is a Wayfarer who is maybe dead. You push yourself up and peer through the window. Senric fights the Finaro, but he doesn't seem any closer to killing it than before. What if he can't kill it? What if... Don't think about it. Senric will be alright, you say. Aaron. You put your hand on his arm and squeeze tight. It's gonna be okay. I know it is. You don't know if you believe your own words, or whether you're saying them more for his benefit or yours. He nods, but can't quite hide the terrified whimper. Exhaling a breath, you push your back against the door and look around the lodge. It's a single, threadbare room divided into sections. One for cooking, one for recreation, one for bathing. The far wall is taken up by a large, unlit hearth. A ladder in the corner leads up to an attic. A tattered rug that has long since lost its original color covers the floor beneath a table. A couple of chairs and a worn couch. Personal items are strewn around the room. Unwashed clothing, worn boots, and a few books. Dirty dishes are piled up by the hearth. Conjured lights hang in the bracket around the room, illuminating it with a cold, clear light. Senric said to barricade yourself in here, but you're winded from everything that happened outside. Maybe there's another way to keep yourself safe. I want to go home, Aaron whispers. You glance at him. I'm sorry. I don't want this, Rilo. I don't want. Why did you go with Senric then? It was either that or run away, he sniffs. Tears shine in his eyes, his cheeks pale and flushed in the harsh light. My foster father. I knew it was going to end one day. I don't even know why he wanted me in the first place. But he, Senric, at least the Wayfarer order wants me. Is there anyone else? No, my mom. Let him talk it out. My mom died a long time ago, Aaron continues quietly. You look at your feet. So it's not like I can go back to her. My father, my real father, he's not here. He's dead too? No, he's nowhere. You don't know what that means. I'm sorry. You may not know him at all, but it feels like the right thing to say. What else can you say? You lost your parents a long time ago. You've been on the streets for so long, you barely remember who they were. Whether you were abandoned or they died or some other miserable thing happened, it's so far in your past it no longer matters. It hurts if you think about it too long, but you're not torn up about it. For Aaron, those wounds still seem fresh. Thud. A wretched yell echoes from outside, followed by a horrible crunching thud, and the whole lodge shakes. You jolt up, your heart leaping into your throat. You can't just sit here. You need to do something. Agility option. You decide to climb the ladder in the far corner. If you hide in the attic, maybe the Fanar won't be able to find you. Fuck this, you mutter, echoing words you heard from other children used time and time again. You race across the room and put your hands on the ladder. The wood is tough and splintered. You're glad you're wearing gloves. Raising your chin, you stare into the dark void of the attic above. It's not that far. The ladder should hold your weight, right? Sucking in a breath, you put your foot on the ladder and begin to climb. It creeps ominously and swings back and forth. You're halfway up when a rung bends beneath your weight and you fall forward, letting out a surprised shout as you cling desperately to the ladder. Rilo! Aaron rushes over, hand thrusts out to catch you if you fall. Are you alright? He puffs. You nod, recovering your balance. I think so, just a little wobbly. Come on, we need to hurry. He cautiously puts a foot on the lowest rung. I thought Sarah said to barricade the door. This is better. You think so? You grunt in frustration. A few chairs against the door isn't going to do anything. You answer hotly and scramble up the ladder. Aaron follows, climbing slowly. Do you really think we can move all that furniture on our own? He pulls himself up and rolls onto the landing next to you. Probably not. This is safer, you said firmly and sit back on your heels, glancing around the attic. There isn't much space up here. The ceiling slopes down at a sharp angle. It's low enough that even an adult dwarf wouldn't be able to stand without stooping. Wooden crates are stacked haphazardly around the room, leaving very little space. You can just make out a small, discreet window of darkened glass at the far end. There are no lamps up here, only light comes through from below. You crawl away from the entrance and hunker down beneath the boxes, the spike of fear lessening its grip with every passing minute. In the quiet, you hear the dull, distant sounds of the fight outside. Even the screech of the Fanarls howling feels far away. It's like you climbed the ladder into a different world. Aaron hovers by the window and runs a hand along the edges. He pulls up the latch and cracks it open, peering out into the darkness. Rilo, he murmurs. You scoot over to the window. What is it? He slides out the way and gestures. You frown. It's not like you can see anything. It's too dark. Senric's pinned down. Aaron says quickly, realizing his mistake. It's not looking good. Is he still fighting? Something's wrong with his arm. What about the Fanarl? It's just staring at him. Oh shit. Aaron flies back from the window. It's moving. It's running. It's coming straight for the lodge. Shit, shit, shit. The window below breaks and the monster crashes through the door. You scream and fall back hard on your rear, your heart hammering in your chest. Aaron slaps a hand over his mouth to keep himself quiet. You exchange looks, shaking with fear. As one, you cautiously crawl to the entrance and peer into the room beneath you. Shattered glass and bits of wood litter the floor. The Fanal prowls through the lodge, his claws slicing deep marks in the floorboards. Its fur is bloodied and matted, and it favors its right side, one of its hind legs dragging uselessly behind it. One of its eyes has been reduced to a blaze socket. Must be Seren's work. He got it good. Maybe that's why I came after you. You're easy prey compared to a Wayfarer who refuses to die. The Fanal snaps at a chair, picking it up in its jaws and flings it across the room. It raises its head and sniffs. A moment later, it pounces over the shredded couch and headbutts the ladder with such force it rips it free from the screws and falls to a clatter. Crap, crap, crap. The creature rises up on its hind legs and pokes its head through the trapdoor. Its single luminous eyes searching the attic. It spots you and sneers, showing teeth that are long and sharp and dripping with blue venom. A claw rests on the ledge of the opening, slicing deep into the wood. It pulls itself up. Shit, shit, shit. You scramble away, pulling your leg free just in time as the beast swipes at you. Breathing heavily, you shove yourself backwards and hit a line of boxes stacked to the ceiling. Nowhere to go, no way out. You're trapped. The Fanal shakes its head, its antlers knocking into the low, sloped walls. You decide to attack. It's your only chance. You suck in the breath and hold your dagger tight to your chest. You can't sit there and do nothing. With a hoarse scream, you throw yourself at the beast and put the full weight of your body into your blow. The dagger sinks into its chest. Blood splatters on your face. The Fanal howls and tumbles backward. His claw swipes out as it falls, catching your cloak. Your heart leaps into your throat as it drags you down with it, pulling you through the trapdoor. You fall, landing in a heap at the bottom of the destroyed ladder. You flinch, curling up into a ball as you remain certain that you're about to feel jaws close around you and teeth pierce your flesh, but it never comes. You open your eyes and sit in confusion, watching as the Fanal turns and retreats out the door, howling in pain. Aaron pokes his head out from above. "Are you alright?" he asks. "Fine," you call back, slowly getting to your feet. He scrambles over the edge and drops down, swaying horribly as he lands. It's a longer drop than he expected. Together, you carefully creep across the ruined ruined room to the door and peer out. The creature passes the clearing, shaking itself to and fro, as if it hopes to dislodge the dagger stuck between its ribs. You watch from the threshold. A faint feeling washes over you. You did this. You. But it's short-lived. Now you don't have a dagger, and that thing still isn't dead. Crap. The Fanal stops its shaking and crouches low, lips pulled back into a nasty snarl. It looks angrier than you have ever seen it. A bright light flashes in your eyes. A fiery arrow strikes the snow at the Fanal's feet. It twists around the panic, snarling, spitting. More arrows fly out of the woods, faster and faster until the creature is encircled in flames. It thrashes and growls, too terrified of the fire to leap over it. Branches crack, underbrush rustles. Something moves deep in the woods, too far for you to see. You clutch at Aaron, a strange mixture of terror and hope rising in your chest. Your heart pounds, and then a dozen warriors rush from the woods. You sit in the snow, eyes wide with shock. An elven woman takes the lead, issuing commands in a light, refined accent. She is dressed in heavy furs and armor and armed with a gleaming silver-white bow. Her hood is down, and her long red gold hair streams over her shoulders. She must be a wayfarer. They must all be wayfarers. They came to you. Tiva, the woman shouts, knocking an arrow. Away. Dessa, take the other side. Go now while it's confused, and get Senric out of there. A large man salutes and darts to the other side of the clearing, gesturing for others to follow him. The group splits, half of them following him, the other half gather around the woman. They drop their bows, exchanging them for spears and swords. The metal flashes in the dancing flames, some silver white, the others are standard steel. Thane, go! A Melusine, much younger than both the elf and the man, dashes forward, seizes Senric under the armpits, and pulls him back to safety. The Fanaro snaps wildly, his jaws closing around thin air as it misses him. It paws at the snow, its claws raking the ground, but does not follow. It is still too afraid to cross the flame. An arrow strikes its shoulder. It throws its head back and howls. Across the clearing, a young woman with dark hair shouts triumphantly and lowers her bow, her bright laughter echoing across the clearing. The Fanaro wheels around. The wayfarers move in, dancing in and out as they strike with the spears. Each blow lands another bloody gash on the creature's flanks, but their efforts only seem to make it angry. How is it still alive? How many people will it take to kill this thing? The creature growls. It spins unexpectedly, snapping at a wayfarer's spear, and catches the weapon between its jaws. It snaps in two. Dace, watch out. The wayfarer dances back a moment too late. Its jaws close around his arm and it flings him violently across the clearing. He hits the tree and slides down, blood oozing from his wound. Fuck, the large man curses. The young woman fires another arrow, and then another, and another. You lost sight of the red-haired elf, but you're sure she's shooting too. Shafts pierce the beast's flanks, and it howls, shaking itself, its jaws snapping at anything close. Its tail lashes around in a wide circle, slamming into another wayfarer and throwing them into the woods. You knew you were lucky. You didn't realize just how lucky. The young woman fires. Her arrow strikes the creature's shoulder and spins again. A single eye drawn to her, she freezes, her hand still above her quiver. She has no arrows left. Shit, she breathes. Shit, I'm out. The Fanaro lowers its head, antlers pointing in her direction, and charges. Without warning, a figure in the black cloak drops out of a tree and lands squarely on the Fanaro's back. They unsheath silver-white daggers and plunge them into its back. The beast bucks wildly, throwing them off. They sail through the air and land hard, rolling through the snow, then bounce back onto their feet. They drop into a defensive posture, completely unruffled. Grandmaster, the large man yells. What are you? The figure turns and flashes him a grin. All of you are taking far too long with this, he says cheerfully. Senric, especially. How long has it been, old man? Senric grunts. He is at the edge of the clearing, leaning against a tree trunk. Stop chattering, Ciro, and kill the damn thing. Behind them, the Fanaro drops low, howling and whining as it paces back and forth. Its forelegs are shaking. Maybe this is finally the end of it. That we can do, the figure in black replies with an expression turning grim. Let's finish this. Down, the red-haired woman yells. The figure ducks, and the Fanaro's tail swings around, passing over their head. With a curse, The figure spins around, readjusts their grip on their daggers, then dashes back in to attack. Firelight and shadow dance in your gaze. You watch as the Wayfarer is closing on the monster, too mesmerized by the battle to move. It thrashes and snaps, its movement slowing. It won't be long now till you're certain of it. In the last desperate attempt, it rears up its hind legs, the injured leg quivering beneath its weights, and shrieks, spraying venom from its jaws. Spears thrust up into its sides. "Bring it down," someone yells. "Bring it down! Bring it down!" The finale falls backwards, crashing to what little remains of the broken cart. The red-haired woman knocks another arrow. The figure in black raises daggers. The finale and the cart explode in a shower of flame. You blink, your eyes stinging as black smoke rolls through the clearing. The air reeks, and there's an acid taste sitting on your tongue. You cough and throw a hand over your mouth and nose. Back in the clearing, the wayfarers closest to the blast have their arms up to protect their faces from the light. Most of them are coughing. Another person retches. They seem as surprised as you are. The flames die as sudden as they appear, leaving behind nothing but blackened wood and a sea of ash. The snow has melted into in a circle, creating a muddy pool. The finale's corpse lies in the middle. There isn't much left save some matted fur, charred bone, and shattered antlers. A chill runs down your spine. They didn't do this, did they? If not, then who did? "I suppose things are in order." The smoke clears and an elven man sweeps into the clearing, flanked by a dozen people. He is tall and dressed warmly in fine clothes. You didn't know furs could look that nice. It's been a long time since you've seen someone who looked this wealthy, or someone who looked so Arathian. There is a sophisticated confidence about him that makes the wayfarers around you feel like common thugs in comparison. Semric grunts, limping over to join the red-haired woman and the figure in black. Together they stare him down. "The frost marks are dangerous these days," the elf continues casually, his blue eyes sweeping the clearing. "I would hate to think that what would have happened if you had failed to fell this beast. The Wayfarer orders archivist, ambassador, and grandmaster all gathered in the same place. You're unfortunate I was here. We don't need help from the Guild of Mages to take down Finarl," Semric grunts. "Yes, indeed." His gaze passes over the dwarf's injuries, then flicks to the ground to the other wounded wayfarers. "I'm certain of that. It was already dying by the time you lot showed up." "Dying?" By that logic, it had been dying for the past hour. What are you accusing me of, Master Semric? Are you perhaps a bit slighted that my people stole your people's kill? Wayfarers may be talented in certain areas, but efficiency is not one of them. You do not need a Lassar to kill a Finarl when the right spells will simply do. He clicks his tongue and glances at the smoking corpse in the center of the clearing. Interesting beasts, Finarls. Such a strange combination of features. Did you know they are unnatural? According to the guild record, they are a creation of one Archsage Alamar Thorgrim some 500 years ago, a failed experiment. But he was far too attached to his creations, you see, so rather than see them destroyed, he released them into the wild where they bred and proliferated until they were a blight upon the Rathian countryside. He rounded them up and sent them south, but Empress Irvinia still had his head for the mistake. Ricinia did not need another iteration upon the Chimera. One was quite enough. We have laws about such things now, but who knows? We aren't the only mages in the world. You never know what the Farans are getting up to these days. Southern Artanis is a little far for a guild mage, isn't it? Senric interrupts, annoyed. He grips his limp arm with his left hand, pressing it tight against his body. Behind him, the rest of the Wayfarers are on the move. The large man, Dessa, you think he's called, shouts instructions to secure the area, then assists the injured, pulling them to the base of a large tree. He is joined by a stocky dwarven woman who has set up a makeshift infirmary. She sets about patching them up. What are you doing this far from Volantis? Why, invitation, of course. The mountains are well suited to my prince's current research, and given this lovely nation has recently joined Arathia and now enjoys all the advantages of being part of the Empire, it was time to arrange a visit. Thankfully, the Artesian government was already prepared with the perfect offer. There is no need to go into that now. Your neighbors in Telerin have proven to be quite welcoming hosts. They helped us seal off the area while we prepared our hunt. He pauses, eyeing the three Wayfarers. I see the order did not receive the message. Hunt, the figure in black snorts. You wanted to hunt a Fanarl? Yes. You? Yes. A mage. And not just a mage, a fucking archsage? You wanted to hunt a Fanarl? You? For the third time, yes. Is it such an impossibility to you, Grandmaster Sarah? From the way you speak, one would think I had an issue to request to steal a sun. Or an Astriel. Ha! Cyril, the figure in black, throws back his head, cackling with laughter. I wouldn't put it past you, but now I must ask. The thing that has been terrorizing Talarin and the surrounding area for 3 weeks. We've had a hunting party out searching for it for half that long, and we didn't get close until tonight. You wouldn't happen to have anything to do with that, now would you? The mage smiles. Of course I did. I was baiting it away from you. Baiting? What in the sweet hell? There are certain tests to keep in mind, observations to be made. It's not my fault the order did not receive Talarin's message that this area would be closed. For the love of all the gods and the bloody hexatheon, why? He shrugs. For reasons I'm sure you are familiar with. What lengths would you go for the sake of your apprentices? Finally, it dawns on you to move. You elbow Aaron gently in the side and gesture towards the mage and the Wayfarers. While you wait to see what the rest of the hunting party is doing, you're far too curious about this elf who showed up out of nowhere. You don't know what a mage is or what a guild has to do with anything, but you want to find out. Judging from the spell that killed the Fanarl, they must be powerful. Carefully, you crawl through the snow and sit down on your haunches, observing the party behind the elf. There are people of all sorts, humans, elves, dwarves, Melusine, even half Ada. Judging from the marks on their forehead and the absence of wings, but somehow they all look the same, graceful, effortless, put together in a way you can't describe. And they all have the same glint in their eyes. A human girl stands a few feet behind the elf, shifting her weight back and forth so that her boots crunch in the snow. Not really a girl, she's older than you, but younger than everybody else. She must be 17, 18 at most. Unlike the rest, she isn't dressed for a hike in the woods. She's wearing some kind of flowing dress or robe. It's pink and shimmery, and far too delicate for tromping around in the snow. An oversized cloak with a puffy fur collar, also pink, sits heavily around her shoulders. A white fur muff covers her hands. A matching hood is pulled up to keep her ears warm, contrasting against her brown face. Dark curls escape from under the hood, brushing against her forehead. You haven't seen anyone dressed so colorfully since you arrived in Artanis. She ignores the Wayfarers and stares directly at the Fanarl's corpse. This is getting tiresome, the red-haired Wayfarer says. We have wounded to tend to, and unfortunately we cannot make use of the same conveniences you would. If there is nothing we can help you with, I suggest you move on. Talaran, for all its quaint appeal, will be far more comfortable for a band of Valencians than the woods. The mage laughs. Straight to the point, I see. I should not have expected as much from you. And I should know by now that for all your talk, you never seem to come to a conclusion. Ciro cackles. Across the clearing, the archer with dark hair approaches the dead beast and ducks down, pulling flashes of silver white from the charred corpse. She works by touch. Her eyes focus on the mages at the clearing's edge. What is she doing? The blonde elf sighs. Very well, he says irritably. He strides past the Wayfarer masters and kneels down in the mud, inspecting Final's corpse. The archer shrinks back, a look on her face, and retreats. My apprentice and I have searched a long time for a specimen as interesting as this. I presume you will take no offense if I relieve you of it. Ciro stops laughing. Relieve you of? What the hell does that mean? He wants to take the corpse, she answers. Yeah, I understand that. I want to know why. Research. All guild mages, no matter how far they climb, must prove they deserve their rank. It doesn't matter how talented they are. The mage chuckles. So you think I am talented? What a fascinating change of pace, my lady. You are triple attuned. You stink of unnatural talent. This is not a surprise. Her expression darkens. And Master Varen will do. I am a Wayfarer before I am anything else. Is that so? Tell me, is it a matter of pride, or do you simply wish to finally refute any northern ties you may still hold? It is not my nature to answer inquiries into personal matters. Do what you want with the beast. We only care that it is dead. It doesn't matter to me what happens after, but if I were you, I would vacate the area. These mountains are not the place for sport. We are closer to the Spire than we are to Talaran. The guild's authority, wherever it happens to be, ends here. He rises to his feet. You will have to inform the magistrate. I believe he sees it otherwise. We are aware of that. Regardless, you have my thanks. I will remember this gesture. You sneeze. The mage looks across the clearing, his elven eyes undeterred by the dark. Ah, he says, spotting you. Speaking of apprentices, am I correct in guessing these two are yours? They will be, or so is the hope, Ciro says coolly. Until they are assigned the master, they are simply recruits under the guild's guardianship. Fascinating. Here I thought, Grand Master, that the order has ceased conscription, that all that remains now will be the last. The rest of Bracenia certainly believes it. Whispers from the court of Erenvor to the shipyards of Tol Corve say there is no more need for wayfarers, that your order is dying and soon it will be obsolete. Behind them, the Wayfarer hunting party continues its work, keeping wary distance from the company of mages. Some have lit torches and stuck them in the snow. Others have set up making a campfire and now warm their bodies over it. A trio splits off from the others and heads into the lodge, searching the area. They don't look very obsolete to you. Admittedly, you're not sure what the word means. Those fortunate enough to be born without magic will always be welcome within our walls, Semric growls. Fortunate? The elf raises her eyebrow. To live beyond the natural boundaries of this world, separated from the Hexathian's blessing, a horrific case of misfortune, or so some would say. Semric snorts. Cyril's mouth twitches. They look as though they are one comment away from laughing uncontrollably or stabbing the mage with a dagger. Varen remains stone-faced. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot the young Melusine Wayfarer pause, their face blazing with anger. They take a step into the clearing, and Dessa swoops in, drawing them away with a stern warning. To you, perhaps, Varen says quickly. Magiani must terrify you, a fate worse than death for a member of the guild, no? To be cut off at the source and have your magic dissipate into nothingness. But for those who have never known the touch of magic, there's nothing unnatural about it. This is what we are, not a heavenly punishment or accident of birth. To be magionic is simply a state of being, and those of us here are more fortunate than most. Not all Magiani are granted the opportunity to understand their abilities and pursue a better life. Spoken like a true wayfarer, lady, Master Varen. Though I do wonder, for someone like you who has known so much more than this life of isolation, what would you do if you could alter your state of being and take a chance at ordinary life? Or have you all lived too many decades with too much pride? Senric grunts, seething beneath the blood and mud caked on his face. You wonder how much longer the mage can talk before he punches him. Varen must have thought the same. She puts a restraining hand on his shoulder. A lovely hypothetical, but really is no use to us. Might-haves and could-haves are poor tools when the present moment is all that matters. He casts an eye in your direction. What do your new recruits think? Did you come all the way here to the southern abyss to pursue a better life? You jolt up, startled that he is speaking to you. You respond, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. The mage raises an eyebrow. Is that so? We're here now, aren't we? Besides, you don't know me or what I left behind. True, I do not, nor should I care to. Like most in this world, you are yet another inconsequential being in the horde of insignificant people whose destinies will amount to nothing greater than but to live and to die. Your blood boils at the insult. His stupid, smug face reminds you of all the people who looked down on you for your affliction, who said life without magic was no life at all. Beside you, Aaron clenching his jaw, fighting back wherever insult has come bubbling up. He kicks the snow, his boot chipping away at the mud beneath. But perhaps I do care. Call it curiosity. It's such a long way from the sanctum. How does he know? Your accent? Something else about you? And I would hate for your journey to have been for nothing. He turned to you. May I ask you a question? You grit your teeth. Leave the kid alone, Quirinius? Cedric warns. But Rendon, this is harmless conversation, is it not? Permit me to indulge myself for a moment. Briefly, of course. Surely you can spare that. You fought a difficult battle and your people need rest. I will offer my bright wardens to assist your injured, but alas, I fear they can do little for those whose wounds must be tended by more, unconventional means. The dwarf expression darkens. Besides, it is up to the boy to answer. His decision, yes. I will take no offense if you say no. You don't like this. Why does this feel like a trap? You decide to respond. What do you want to know? The mage chuckles. An easy question, though perhaps one that is easier to ask than to answer. Wayfarer tradition leaves little room for personal choice when it comes to their recruits. Many begin like you as young, unwanted blemishes upon their families, or perhaps they have already been abandoned by the time the order discovers their whereabouts. A foreign practice to the guild, you are taken, We earn our place. He pauses. Whispers muttered echo from across the clearing. None of the wayfarers here are pleased with his remarks. So allow me to ask my question. In the way of the wayfarer, a path you would have chosen for yourself, had you been given the chance to choose? You blink. Everyone is staring at you. They're pretending not to, but you can feel it. Aaron turns away, his hands stuffed in his armpits, and huddles down into the snow. It's as if he's trying to make himself as small as possible, as if he wants nothing to do with this conversation. You finally respond, "Why does it matter? I'm here now." You glare at Quirinius for good measures. Your impatience wringing his ugly head. You don't know what answer he's looking for, but you'd rather say nothing than give him what he wants. There is no reason to placate this stranger. Senric chuckles, Ciro grins, Varen sighs. The mage frowns, a crease forming between his brow. "I see," he says at least. "Ciro, it would seem this one takes after you. You would rather make quips and avoid the question at hand rather than suffer any manner of directness." Ciro snorts. "Remarkable. I would never expected someone as old and supposedly wise as you to sound so sour. Are you upset you didn't get what you wanted?" "You know you can just tell him to shut up, Hamali." Senric grunts. "Oh, but this is far more amusing." The mage ignores them. "And what of you?" he calls, his gaze now passing to Aaron. "I gather you are to be a wayfarer too, boy." Aaron stares at his feet. Something like that. He raises an eyebrow. "Tyridian, eh? You are practically local. An easy choice for the Order, no doubt. Did they choose you? Or did you choose them, I wonder?" "That's enough." Varen sweeps in, stepping between Aaron and the mage. He shrinks down even more, as if he is wishing he could disappear. It is not the guild's place to interrogate the Order's recruits. "Oh, but this was not on guild terms, Lady Varen. This was on my own terms. I was the Archsage, but as a person with far too much curiosity. If this is personal, then I'm sure something can be arranged through the appropriate avenues. Perhaps someday the Order would be pleased to give you a formal introduction to the Spire and our traditions. If this is of interest to you, you can reach me by a letter with your request, Lord Quirinius. But should you know that there has been many queries issued to the Wayfarer Order as of late, I suspect it may take 6 months or more to respond, if at all. Letters have a habit of going missing, you see." A cold breeze blows through the clearing. You shiver and rub your arms, pulling your cloak tighter about you. You don't fully understand what she is saying, but from her tone you know it's an insult. "You have what you want now, don't you?" Ciro adds grimly. Any trace of laughter has disappeared from their eyes. "From what you said, the guild has local permission to hunt a Finaro. Congratulations, you failed your beast. Clear out." "So quickly, Grandmaster. I believe there's much more we can accomplish together. The guild and the Order so rarely have the opportunity to converse freely. Is tonight not proof we need not always be antagonistic? Perhaps we can make an exchange, learn to help one another. Your Alisar weapons, for example, such fascinating anti-magical properties in Alisar, and a limited resource to boot. Rumor says the Emperor has spent a fortune attempting to recreate it. I would dearly love to examine true Alisar someday." "Did you not hear me? Clear out." The mage's expression grows cold. "Is that an order, Grandmaster?" "It is a request. I would suggest you follow it before it becomes something else. You know the guild will not be bullied by the Order, and the Order has no obligation to the guild." You came to Southern Artanis. You're in our territory. How long do you think it would take for my people to strip yours of their magic? If I were you, I wouldn't want to find out. The mage stares back, holding their gaze. Then, without warning, he turns around and raises a hand. The air rips open, a jerk back in shock, a rippling vortex of black and violet appearing behind the company of mages as if it sliced out reality itself. The Finale's corpse, charred skin and bones, floats up, leaving nothing but save a few bits of stained antler, and the mage walks confidently at the corpse's side and passes into the void without a backwards look. He vanishes. One by one, the rest of the mages file through until at last they have all disappeared. The void collapses in on itself, and the woods are still. Baron sighs, her expression grim. What a bastard, Cyril says, their eyes narrowed as they stare at the spot where the mages disappeared. Next time, let's not let him talk that long. Next time? You're right. Here's hoping that there is no next time. She grimaces. Grandmaster, she says briskly, if you would, get Rendon to Siren before he falls over. Only the gods know how he's still standing. I'm fine, Brissa, he growls. Stop fretting over me. I may be old, but I'm not some fragile little thing. I survived worse than this. I'll stop fretting when you're dead. Now I might as well keel over now. Not today, you aren't. Get going. Ciro grins. You heard the lady, they say, slipping an arm under the dwarf's shoulders. Around the dwarf's shoulders. Off to Siren, old man. You're older than I am. Hit your head, did you? When is 60 older than 200? I mean relatively. For a human, Cyril, you got more gray than me. I've been going gray for the past 30 years. It's the stress of mine and the old man. Fine, I don't need your help, oldie. The bickering doesn't end as Cyril helps Senric hobble across the clearing to the makeshift infirmary. Tiva, Baron calls. The young archer looks up from where she is crouched on the edge of the woods, talking to the Melusine. She leaps to her feet and hurries through the snow. You pause, confused by the hum of conversation and the flurry of activity around you. The archer reaches into her quiver and passes a handful of silver-white shards, then listening carefully as Byron gives her a set of instructions. The Wayfarer master nods and steps away, then ushers Aaron to the side, escorting him to an isolated spot at the edge of the clearing. You watch them go, ears perked up. Why has she singled him out? Does it have something to do with him being from Tyridia? Maybe you can ask him later. You stick your hands in your pockets and stare up at the sky, pretending to be distracted by the southern lights. Slowly, you edge closer to them and listen in. Byron kneels in the snow, now face to face with him. Aaron, she says softly, do you remember who I am? He nods. Yes. It's going to be all right now. He hangs his head, avoiding her gaze. She pauses, resting a hand on his shoulder. It's as if she can't quite decide whether to hug him or not. It's over now. I will not let anything happen to you. I promise. Hello. A grinning face appears before you as the archer steps in front of you, blocking your view of Aaron and the Wayfarer master. She's human, but so short from adulthood she could be dwarven. Her dark brown complexion is free of scars, and she wears her coils puffed into two puffs on top of her head. Unlike most of the other Wayfarers, she's wrapped up in a long leather coat with a tall collar rather than a cloak. You have a feeling she looks younger than she really is, just as she may not be as soft as she appears to be. I'm Tiva, she continues, dark eyes sparkling. Master Varun asked me to keep an eye on you. Come on, there's a fire over there. Let's keep warm while the others finish up. You trudge through the snow around her, clutching your cloak. Though you feel exhausted, you've never been more awake in your life. It's not that far to Aspire. Her voice is bright and pleasant to listen to. Though she speaks at a rapid pace and trips over some of her words, Arathian must not be her native language, but you can't place her accent. It seems the Wayfarer order is like the rest of Persania. You may have your native tongue, but everyone speaks Arathian. And we have horses back in the woods. Didn't want them to get close to Fanarl for, well, you saw what it did to the oxen. I'm sorry about that. It's never nice to see innocent creatures die so brutally. It only makes you wonder what kind of things she has seen. You reach the campfire and she drags over a log, brushing it off. Here, she says, already sitting down and gesturing for you to do the same. Good place to have a rest. You nod and take a seat, adjusting your cloak. A little ways away, Ciro leans against a tree with their arms folded, while Senric has his arms examined by a dwarven woman. He curses loudly, complaining as she removes his armor and tisks over the torn flesh. Sit still, the woman snaps. Must we do this every time? You're making my job harder than it has to be. Stop prodding me, Siren. I'll be as good as new with a little rest. You'll be as good as new as it after I take a look. Now sit still. She lets out an exasperated sigh. You're going to hurt yourself permanently if you keep on like this. What are you even doing here? Not like you to be on a hunt. A hunt? No, a Fanarl hunt. You damn well know I will be there. You're lucky we saw that flare, you know. That was the intention. What do you think I do? Put up flares for fun? You ignore them. Is he always like that? You ask, holding your hands out over the fire. Who, Master Senric? Of course he is. You get used to it after a while. Tifa chuckles and reaches into her coat, pulling out a flask. She tilts her head back and downs a mouthful. Want some? You stare at her blankly. She chuckles. It's hot cocoa, she explains. Perfectly safe and nothing out of the ordinary, except costing a fortune. Thang will make fun of me for this, but I have a bit of a sweet tooth. I brought some chocolate back with me last time I was in northern Arathia. Can't get it here. You look at the flask. Childish streets option. If you say so, I don't know what it is. Tifa smiles. That's right, she says. They said you were from Nesantium. You nod. Is the city always that mad, or is it just me? Couldn't find my way, not for lack of trying, though I might be, as the Grandmaster calls it, navigationally challenged. Still can't figure out north from south while I'm in the Spire. You chuckle. No, it's like that for everyone. So, she's familiar with the city. In a strange way, you feel closer to home than you did before, but in a nice way. You take the flask and carefully put it to your lips. You drink inside. The drink inside is warm and creamy, and it cheers you right up. Good, isn't it? You can have the rest if you like. She looks away and digs through her coat again, this time pulling out what looks to be a rolled up bit of reed. She sticks it out towards the campfire and lights the end, then leans back and sticks the roll between her teeth and inhales. This is not perfectly safe, if you're wondering, she adds, eyeing you. She blows out a puff of smoke and watches sails off into the air. Dream weed. Don't judge. We won't have much to do except wait for the others. So there's time. You wiggle back and forth on the log, listening to it creak. You pause. You're bursting with questions, but will she answer them? What are they doing? The other wayfarers, I mean. Eva sticks the reed between her teeth, searching the area. She says slowly. There's a hesitance in her voice, as if she has to remind herself to watch her words. Only makes you more curious. Hard to explain, and it's likely boring for you to listen to, but we've been having some problems with the locals. Talaran is the closest town to Aspire, and we depend on them for trade. Their new magistrate doesn't like that very much. Take that and combine with some old grudges, a decent helping of excuse me, a decent helping of Mesandic superstition from the Messiah, and a sprinkle of imperial distrust, and you got some very nasty neighbors sitting on your doorstep. The government in Tyridia can't be trusted anymore. Artenis is Arathian's countryside now. You can never forget that. You stare at the campfire, nodding off. She's right. This is boring to listen to. She taps her reed and pulls it out of her mouth, sighing contentedly as she blows smoke at the sky. Magistrate's gonna be pissed, but frankly, I don't think Dessa cares. Their lodge is fucked. Sorry. She coughed, scrambled to cover the word. A mess. There's a chance they won't notice we've been through their shit. The mage, do you know who he was? Heh. Tiva hunches over, resting her elbows on her knees and stares into the fire. Yeah, well, we know of him. I don't think anyone here knows him personally. He's a guild archsage after all. You don't know what that means. Sabian Corinius. Quite the bastard. From what I hear, not literally mind you, Arathian born as legitimate as they come, though he doesn't look it. He's the pride of the Imperial Guild, the first triple attuned mage on record. Again, you don't know what that means. Some say he's vying to be named Grand Archsage, but frankly, I don't think he has it in him. He seems more interested in running around remote locales doing shady research without his superiors knowing than directing the guild from the center of the continent. He's a strange one. They all say it. And he's not young either. He must be at least 100 by now. What was the thing the mages did? That thing that let them walk away? Oh, that! She shrugs and flicks off the end of her reed. Ash crumbles off. Surprised you haven't seen that before. I've never been around mages. You don't have to be a mage to manage spell work like that, Rilo. Mage is just a word for someone trained by the guild. It's a profession or a title. Like being a wayfarer? Her lips twitch, hiding a smile. I guess so, yeah. So, to answer your question, that was a portal. Planeswalkers use them to move from location to location if they're trained enough. From what I hear, it's very difficult to accurately cast dispersion magic like that, and you're more likely to die from a miscalculated portal than travel successfully. But what do I know? I'm just a wayfarer. She chortles, as if joking with herself. I wonder if she's echoing something someone told her once. For those who have the means or the talent, it's a convenient way to travel long distances or escape from sticky situations. Don't know how Corinius made that one though. I told you he's a triple attuned mage, but he's not a planeswalker. He shouldn't be able to manage portals. I don't think anyone who knows his magic works knows how his magic works. The man's an anomaly. You make a note of it, idly wondering what happened if someone like you happened to stick their hand inside as someone was traversing it. Would it collapse? Would they be trapped inside? Where do they go, you blurted out, when they travel? Tiva stares at you, the reed hanging loosely between her lips. There has to be something between here and there, right? So where is it? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows. From what I hear, it happens instantly, but now that you mention it, she makes a face. Huh. Looks like I'm going to be thinking about that all night. You picked up something earlier. What was it? You're full of questions, aren't you? She shoots back. For a moment, your stomach twists and you wonder whether you're in trouble. Then her face breaks into a broad smile. She nudges you with her shoulder. Don't worry, I was the same when I came to Aspire. Knew less than I thought, and was about to learn more than I could imagine. As Master Varn would say, it's good to ask questions. You relax, the knot in your gut untwisting itself. You like Tiva. There really is no reason to be nervous around her. I see you noticed that earlier, she says with a chuckle. Master Varn and Master Zero are going to love you. I'm sure I can already tell, but I'm sure I can already tell. To give you an answer, it's better to show you than tell. Can you keep a secret? Promise me you won't tell Varn. You nod and lean in close, your heart pounding with excitement. Tifa reaches into her quiver and pulls out something small. Keep her arms tucked into her side so no one notices. She cups it with her palms, opens her fingers. It's an arrowhead. Little remains of the shaft. The wood must have been burned away in the fire, but the metal itself is undamaged. Though the tip is crusted with blood, the rest of it shines silver white, a dappled pattern shimmering across its surface like one on Cynic's sword. Alistar steel, she says quietly. It's not a secret. Everyone knows the Wayfarer Order has the only survived Alistar weapons in the world. What is it? She smiles. It's like us. Your heart leaps. Alistar is the tool of a Wayfarer. You can cut through magic, stop spell work, disable enchantments. You can learn to do these things yourself, of course, but with Alistar, anything is possible. There's a reason why it terrifies mages. If you touch Alistar, their magic melts away. They can't do shit. She pauses and sucks in the breath, blowing out another puff of smoke. But it's finite. We don't know how to make more. So the Order uses whatever we have left, passing weapons down from one Wayfarer to the next. A bit of a pain when it comes to archery. The bow is more for show than anything else. There's only a handful of Alistar arrows left and some arrowheads. Master Varn will lose her mind when she counts hers and finds one missing. I'll return it, of course, but someone needs to shake her up now that Darius is away. He knows how to keep her on her toes. It seems like Tiva has a mischievous streak. Do you have one? You ask. Her smile fades. No, I have a sword. That's good enough. Darius and Master Varn are the only archers trusted with Alistar. They'll keep them until they pass on. Hopefully that won't be for a long time. And by then, who knows who will succeed them. Maybe there won't be any Wayfarers left at that point. Why? She lets out a long sigh, returns to puffing on her reed. It's complicated. There were more Wayfarers when I was a kid like you, and now there aren't so many. You and Aaron are the first recruits Master Cynic has sought out in years. If you want, you can ask the Grandmaster, but I doubt you'll get a straight answer from them. So it's true that what Corinius said, that the Wayfarer Order is dying. No, she interrupts quickly. Not true. Our ranks might not be what they used to be, but we're still very much here. Unfortunately, that makes some people very angry. You pause, mulling this information over in your head. You can't make sense of it all, so your thoughts are going to go to one thing that stood out to you. A name. Names are easy, aren't they? Who is Darius? Is he a Wayfarer? Her expression falls. Yes, one of the best. A complete and utter ass of a person, but one of the best. He and Bryn, another one of the best, left a few months ago with a whole band of their friends. They're in Arathia. Only God knows what the hell they're doing up there. I wish they'd come back. You'll meet him someday, I'm sure. Judging from her expression, she doesn't like talking about him. There are some raw feelings here, one she is trying to hide. You decide to drop it. Where are you from? You don't sound like you're from here. A good question, Rilo, Tiva says with a grin. I need to do what Master Viren asked me to do. Around you, not much has changed. The Wayfarers do seem to be anywhere close to finishing their current objectives. The Meg still fusses over Senric. Viren and Aaron talk quietly on the other side of the clearing, and the Wayfarers that went to the lodge haven't come back yet. At least someone has disposed of the dead oxen. You wouldn't be comfortable sitting around here with their empty eyes staring at you. What is it? Nothing serious. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. Grandmaster Sero and Master Viren would like to know what happened with the Fanaro from your perspective. That is. A lump forms in your throat. Slowly you start from the beginning, tell her everything that happened, from the encounter with the sentries to your failed attempt to attack the Fanaro, climbing into the attic. She listens intently, invested in every word. There is no judgment, no interruption. She simply listens and lets you ramble. You never had anyone listen this closely to anything you said. You're far too used to being ignored and passed over. Your opinion is diminished. But Tiva, she's different from the gang of roving kids and shady thugs you knew on the street. At last you finish. She takes a long drag of her reed and breathes it out into the night. Thank you for telling me all that, she says. I see you've had quite the adventure, but I messed up. Once, you messed up once. It happens to all of us. Sometimes, no matter how confident you are, luck is not on your side. But you can't hold on to shit like that, Rilo. You got to move on. Besides, you never know when the thing you wanted to do was something you shouldn't have done. Sometimes messing up can save you a lot of grief later on. You make a face. Doesn't feel like it. Tiva nudges you gently with her elbow. Cheer up. You'll get used to it in no time. She cuts off and whirls around, staring out into the woods. Thane? Why don't you come sit with us rather than skulking around, eavesdropping? A large pair of bright yellow eyes pierce through the darkness. A moment later, the Melusine steps from the trees and wades through the snow. They aren't much older than you, maybe 14, 15 years old, and they carry themselves with awkward, gangly confidence as if they know what they want to do but keep doubting themselves. Their coral complexion and soft turquoise hair are at odds with the snowy woods and crisp night sky. They look as though they should be swimming in the sea at the height of summer, not freezing in the mountain. They must be a long way from home, like you. Why aren't you with Dessa? Tiva asked as the youth sits down on the far side of the log. Told me to stay here. The lodge has. Their lips twitch. Never mind. Don't want to scare the new one. I survived the Fanaro. I'm not scared of anything. Fanaro's nothing. They're ordinary. See them twice a week out here, 3 times a week. Then why did they take a whole hunt party to take one down? Thane grimaces, their cheeks flushing. I don't have to explain this to you. Oh, knock it off, Tiva rolls her eyes. Take one last puff of her reed, she blows out a mouthful of smoke and throws it in the fire. Don't be jealous, Thane. That's boring. You're jealous all the time. What am I? When? You're jealous of Darius. I'm not. If he didn't have a stick up his ass thinking he's so much better than everyone else, I wouldn't have a problem. Thane blows a raspberry. Don't mind them, Tiva continues, turning to you. You'll be friends in no time, I'm sure, once they get over themselves. They're just bothered they'll no longer be the last Wayfarer apprentice. Hey! And you'll be trained by a master on the council. That hasn't happened in years. Thane's already trained with Dessa. He's an excellent mentor, but he's not on the council. Your ears perk up. The council? It sounds important. It's not as formal as it sounds, she explains. a selection of Wayfarer Grandmasters who lead the order. Right now, that means Master Senric, Master Varen, Master Tovar, and Grandmaster Sero. Master Tovar will not take an apprentice. She's the only instructor in field medicine, and she has too many responsibilities treating the wounded. And with most of our people out on contract, even fewer interested in mentoring. Those who are left already have apprentices. That only leaves those three. Aaron will be trained by Master Varen. That's already been decided. But you, I don't think you've been assigned yet. It could be any of them. Lucky, Thane murmurs. You can't tell if they're making fun of you or not. A mentor. It hadn't occurred to you before, but you suppose you will have to learn somehow. There are other apprentices? Yeah. Most are close to inauguration except Thane here and a couple others. She sighs and glances over her shoulder, impatiently staring at the lodge. The Wayfarers still haven't come out yet. You'll meet them when we get to the spire. So it seems you will be trained by either Senric, Varen, or Sero. Senric you're familiar with enough, but the other two, you don't know much about them save for your first impressions. Ask about Senric. What do you think of Senric, you ask? Tiva flashes you a grin. Everyone loves him, she replies cheerfully. I don't know what he seems like on the outside. I know what he seems like on the outside. But I promise he's not as surly all the time. He might be a grump, but there's a soft heart under all that complaining. He has been here the longest, feels as old as the spire itself, and no one knows the Order's traditions better than him. I swear he knows things about the Citadel no one else does. He has been the Order's archivist for God knows how long, and I don't think anyone else could do it. He has taught hundreds of apprentices, and he remembers all their names. I think most Wayfarers, whether he trained them or not, would say he's like a father, or their grandfather, or a tetchy great-uncle. If you train with Master Senric, you're like family, and he will teach you how to fight, and how to protect yourself and others. Something tugs at your heart, longing, yearning, you don't know. Ask about Varen. What do you think of Varen? Tifa hums. Tough. Thane shakes their head. She's nice. She's nice and she's tough. Master Varen is a challenging instructor. She's strict, she has standards, and she sticks to them. Master Senric can be bribed if you give him puppy dog eyes and tugs at his heartstrings. Master Sero can be bribed with actual bribes if they're clever and funny enough. But Master Varen, she doesn't yield. Darius was her last apprentice, and he did everything he could to get her to back down. She never gave in to him. Once she has her mind set, nothing can change it. She's different from the other masters, Thane adds. She didn't come to the spire as a child. She came here long afterwards. She used to be an aristocrat, I think, or something like that. She spent most of her life abroad before coming here to train. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean she's soft. Most people underestimate her. If they expect a warrior, she gives them a noble. If they expect a noble, she gives them a warrior. People seem to have a hard time with that. There's a reason she's the Order's ambassador. If you train with her, you will focus on more than combat, diplomacy, negotiation, mediation, understanding your surroundings, and how to make use of your environment. Fighting is important, but so is knowing how to get out of one before it even begins. You pause, lingering on something Tiva said earlier. But she won't teach me. You said she's already chosen Aaron. That doesn't mean anything. Plenty of masters have more than one apprentice before. Some prefer it. Master Varen chose Aaron. Choosing Aaron has nothing to do with whether or not she will decide to train you. If she feels strongly enough about it, she can teach both of you. Why did she choose Aaron? I don't know. His circumstances are different from yours. That's all I know. You decide to let it go. You decide to ask about Master Sero. Can you tell me about Cyril, the Grandmaster? To your surprise, both Tifa and Thane dissolve into chortling laughter. I could say an unbelievable amount about the Grandmaster, Tifa begins. Me too, so much, Thane adds. So much. Did you know they've been putting the same rock under a wobbly step in Master Ceric's tower? Every time he finds it, throws it away, and they find the exact same rock and put it back? Did you know they sent their last apprentice up the mountain in the middle of winter without any surprise and told them, if you make it back alive, you pass? The apprentice thought they were abandoned up there, but Grandmaster was watching every step they took in case something bad happened. A sense of unease washes over you. Who does a thing like that? Grandmaster Cyril is an eccentric, Tifa continues, and they would take that as a compliment. Their tactics are unusual. That makes them difficult to predict. I think that's why they were elected Grandmaster. You never know what they're going to do, and when they do it, it makes an impression. They have taught very few apprentices and haven't taken one in well over a decade. To train with them is an unprecedented honor. You'll learn a little bit of everything, and then some. Your unease melts away with a flicker of excitement. Perhaps this won't be so bad. I don't think the Grandmaster is going to take an apprentice, Thane says. Tifa eyes them up. You don't know that. They said they wouldn't. When did you hear that? Yesterday. Where did you hear that? Out in the courtyard, talking to Master Varen. Why would they change their mind now? Easy, because it's the unpredictable thing to do. You have heard all the information you're going to get. We'll have to wait and see what happens next. Listen, Rilo, Tifa says. Who trains you is possibly one of the most important things that will ever happen to you when you become a Wayfarer. Possibly one of the most important things that will ever happen in your life. You swallow hard. Do I get to decide? No. It'll be decided for you. I suppose that's what makes it special. They choose you, not the other way around. She pauses. There's nothing like the relationship between a Wayfarer master and their apprentice. Nothing. That level of trust and understanding, it goes beyond other relationships. Even after inauguration, there are Wayfarers who continue to work closely with their former mentors. There's a bond there. You have it forever. Thane nods vigorously. You glance at them, remembering that they aren't much older than you. A thought occurred to you. A bond, like a parent. Not exactly. A soft smile passing across her face. Although everyone says Ciric considers his apprentices like they are his own grandchildren, and that might be true, it's not really like that. It's something more. There is an old tradition. Most don't follow it anymore, but both parties have to agree. What is it? Far in the past, new Wayfarers used to adopt the surnames of their mentors. As I said, this is a very old tradition, and most Wayfarers don't observe it anymore. For those that do, it's usually to honor the legacy of their mentor, or it's a symbol, throwing away the old and accepting the new. Most of us don't have families, and those that do not have many fond memories of them. You think a name is simple, but sometimes it chains you down. Not everyone wants to live with that. You wonder whether she made that choice. Zero! You jolt up from the log, startled by the sound, and turn around. Dessa, the large Wayfarer who you know is Thane's master, emerges from the lodge. He waves down the Grandmaster, who tisks and traipses across the clearing in long strides. Wherever they have to discuss seems very serious. You glance at Tifa. Well then, she says with a grin, shall we find out? You stuff her flask in a pocket, then raise your arms in the air and give them a good stretch, pretending to shake out the stiffness in your body. No one pays you any attention. Varen is still speaking with Aaron, and Cynric is occupied with the medic. Slowly you meander towards the lodge as if you're taking a casual walk, inching closer and closer until you are within earshot. A cache, huh? Yeah, if you put it in the right spot, they could blow their way clean through the east wall. Damn. You exchange looks with Tiva. You don't know what they're talking about, and she doesn't seem to either. It's not just explosives. There are weapons, poisons, armaments from Ferandor. I don't know who these people are, if they're even local militia, or who is supplying them, but it puts a bad taste in my mouth knowing someone's keeping a cache like this on our doorstep. Think we should clear it out? Zero pauses, running a hand over their jaw. No. What? Leave them be. Regardless of who this cache belongs to, if we sabotage it, Talaran will see it as us crossing the line. We know about it. We can handle it. Better to wait for more information than strike too soon and piss them off. Dessa grimaces. It's clear from his expression that he does not agree. Grandmaster, if I may. You may not. I know you're going to call me a fool. It's only fair. I'll take it as a compliment. They turn on a heel and raise a hand in the air. All right. I know you all can hear me. Finish up. Get the horses. We're moving out. The makeshift camp bursts with activity. The fire goes out. Dessa's group abandons the lodge and closes it up tight. Others spread out across the clearing and cover traces that the Wayfarer order was ever here. Tifa is ushered away in the chaos, leaving you alone by the tree line. You blow out a shaky breath, overwhelmed from the rush and the noises. Too much has happened this evening, and you are exhausted. You shiver and rub your forearms for warmth. Your toes feel numb. You wiggle them back and forth in your boots, hoping to warm them up. Snow is falling, large, thick flakes that dance on the wind. Impulsively, you stick out your tongue and turn around in circles, trying to catch one on the tip of your tongue. Something bumps your shoulder. You stop spinning. Aaron stands behind you with his arms wrapped tight around himself. He looks a little pale than he was before, but he seems unnerved in the way he wasn't before the final attack. Maybe the reality of what happened tonight is finally settling in, or you decide to silently offer him the last of Tiva's hot cocoa. He takes the flask, eyeing it suspiciously. You wait, giving him an encouraging smile, and glance across the clearing. The Wayfarers are almost ready to move. Most have vanished into the trees where the horses must be. The medic has cleaned up her station and prepared to leave. At the edge of the clearing, Tifa speaks quietly with Senric, Varen, and Ciro, occasionally casting a quick glance in your direction. They listen carefully, nodding here and there. Aaron puts the flask to his lips and drinks. He gasps. His eyes light up. You grin. Feeling better? He nods and grins back, finishing the whole thing. The Archivist, the Ambassador, and the Grandmaster approach. It's curious to note the differences between them. Ciro's the tallest by far, moving with a kind of relaxed, cat-like ease. They appear to be the oldest, although you know that's not true. Human lifespans are much shorter than elven and dwarven ones. They have a rich brown face and a square jaw. There's a little stubble across their chin. Salt and pepper locks are swept back into a long tail that reach down their back. Their dark eyes are constantly on the move, watching, observing, waiting. You don't know why, but you have the feeling that they are the most deadly of the three. Varen, meanwhile, carries herself with controlled elegance and grace, as if every move she makes is calculated. Her pale, pointed face is flushed pink from the cold. The front pieces of her glossy red gold hair are braided away from her forehead and pulled to the back of her head, showing pointed ears marked with small holes. Maybe she wears earrings but removed them due to a freezing temperature. Her eyes are gold, shining keen and bright. and a thick scar runs from her left eyebrow, pulling at her eye. The injury is old, and it doesn't seem to bother her. She looks like the kind of person who notices everything with a single glance and is 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And then, of course, there's Senric. Compared to the others, he looks like he has been to hell and back, and more than once. His scars are ugly. He walks with a limp, and his wounded arm now hangs in a sling. He's gruff, coarse, looks like he spent his life fighting monsters. But when he looks at you and Aaron, there's a softness in his eyes that others lack. You have a feeling that if you were in a different company, someone would say that Senric is the only true Wayfarer of the 3. Raelo Asarai, Varen calls, striding ahead. She is the first to reach you. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. You nod, clambering up. Your tongue feels heavy in your mouth. Talking to Tiva and Thang was easy. They felt like equals. Like there was no difference between you and them. Varen, on the other hand, is intimidating. She speaks with a refined accent that sounds rich and powerful, and there's an authority about her that demands that you pay attention. You do not dare interrupt. Brissa Varen, you know Rendon Senric already, of course. He has been with the Order for far longer than I. You would do well to listen to him. His advice, though a little rough around the edges, is always sound. Senric snorts. Compliments? That's unlike you. I do my best, she replies sweetly. Hey now, Amali Ciro. She continues, gesturing towards them. Grand Master of the Order. Senric and I answer to them, and one day you will too. A fanciful title for a less than fanciful job, Ciro says lightly, waving her hand. I wouldn't have taken it, but these bastards all voted for me. They have much of a choice after that. I know you both have had a long journey and are looking forward to a hot meal in a warm bed, Byron continues. It'll be over soon. We ride with the hunting party. Shall we depart? Guided by her elven eyesight, Byron leads the way into the dark woods. You shuffle your feet through the underbrush, jumping at every crack of a fallen branch. The wind howls, sweeping flurries through the trees. The sky, what little you can see of it, is dark with clouds. No more dancing southern lights, no more stars. More snow is on its way. The forest closes in on you with every step, and you try to suppress the rising panic in your chest. Where are the other wayfarers? How far are we expected to go? Even with Varen's torch, everything is cold and dark and foreign. You feel as though you have stepped into the maw of another monster, and the woods may eat you alive. Torches flicker between the trees, and the hum of voices murmur ahead of you. You've caught up with the others. Byron leads you through a gap between 2 trees, and you stumble out into another small clearing. It bustles with activity. Most of the hunting party are mounted, and they discuss places and people and events you do not understand amongst themselves. Their horses, Winnie and Nicker, ready to move. 3 riderless horses wait on the other side. None for the kids, Senric grunts. Ciro snorts. Didn't think we stumbled into you out there, they reply. You're the ones who's supposed to be arriving by a cart a week from now. How the hell did you pick up the pace that fast? Didn't like Tyridium much. Oh really? Surprising, old man. Truly surprising. Well, I'm not about to put 2 young recruits on horseback without supervision when they don't know how to ride. Brissa, you take 1 recruit. I'll take the other. Not about to force Rendon to ride with company when he's injured. It's fine, Amali. I can manage. You ask, "Where's Tiva? I want to go with her." Byron glances at you. "Tiva is our best scout," she says gently. "She needs to be up front. The Finara might be dead, but these woods are still dangerous." You frown. "You suppose that makes sense?" You finally say, "I want to go with Grandmaster Cyril." Cyril grins. "Ah, I see," they say. "I would choose me too." Byron chortles. Senric sighs. The Grandmaster ushers you aside to a black horse. They help you mount and then swing up easily behind you. Out of the corners of your eyes, you spot Byron put Aaron onto a beautiful white destrier and climb up after him, while Senric trundles up over to the remaining brown mare. Your eyes open and close, exhaustion fogging your mind. You don't know how you managed to stay upright all this time, and now that you're in the saddle, you're so tired you feel you're about to slide off and then to fall into the snow. You squeeze your knees and clutch at the horse's mane, desperate to keep yourself upright. The horse snorts, his ears flicking back. "Hey, hey, hey," Cyril murmurs. "No need for that. Trust that you're not going to fall. And you," they lean over, patting the horse on the neck and speaking firmly, "behave yourself. We have a guest." The horse snorts again, but obeys. He trots forward, taking you and Cyril to the center of the procession. The Wayfarers move quietly through the woods, torchlight flickering against the dark canopy of the trees. Senric guides his mare to the center of the group, Byron a few paces behind. The forest path twists and turns in a slow climb upwards. You're heading deeper into the mountains. Just how far into the wilderness is the spire? You stifle a yawn and lean back, pressed against Cyril's chest. Your head lolls, and you are rocked to sleep by the ride. When you wake, you wave in and out consciousness, Sarah speaking heatedly to another Wayfarer. You're too muddled from sleep to understand the words, but their tone is pointed. Some kind of argument. The voice stopped. "Ah, you're awake." You open your eyes just in time to see Dessa trot ahead. Was the argument about the weapons cache? He didn't seem too happy it was left behind. "How far is the spire?" you mumble. "A few miles. That is either very far or not very far at all, depending on who you ask." Funny how the perception of distance changes depending on the person. Senric has been saying for weeks that the spire is not very far. See? That's that perception talking. Senric's traveled more than the rest of us combined. He's seen places some of us can only dream of. That's what living for 2 centuries would do to you. Lots of time to walk from one side of the continent to the other. Everything's in walking distance in his mind. You're not sure if that's a joke or not. From the little you've seen, Cyril and Senric seem to be at each other's throats and liking it that way. What's it like, the spire? It's a citadel, a grand citadel. I don't think there could be another place in the world built quite like it. It may look like it's about to bite you, but it's home. It's home to many of us. Even professional wanderers need a place to return to when the world has worn them out. Is that what you do? Wander? They bark a laugh. In a way, yes, but there's more to it than that. We're adventurers, problem solvers, everything in between. We handle things no one else can. Our talents demand we go looking for trouble, although trouble has a nasty way of finding us. You had a good brush with what that's like earlier tonight. You shift uncomfortably, watching the dark forest go by and listening to the gentle thump, thump, thump of the party's horses traversing the snow. The wayfarers around you talk in hushed voices, some of it casual conversation about people and places you've never heard of. Others are more serious matters. Senric rides next to the medic, arguing with her all the way down the path. Byron rides quietly with Aaron while he watches the scenery go by. Grandmaster Cyril? Eh? You don't need to do that yet. Not one for titles, even though this is a lot. They jerk their thumbs over their shoulder, insists on it. Zero's fine. Now then, what's your question? How did the order find me? Ah, I can see why that's on your mind. They clear their throat and tighten their grip on the reins, guiding the horse around the wayfarer who has stopped in their tracks. The truth is, we always have intelligence on Magiani and Resinia, where they are, how they're doing. Before my time, representatives were sent sent to all corners of the continent to give an offer to potential recruits and their families. But things change. We don't have the resources to run recruitment like that. Not to mention our reputation isn't in good standing with Resinia. Most countries don't enjoy us getting involved and taking their people, even if they are Magiani. You and Aaron are an exception. One last chance. In your case, Cedric was on his way to recruit a different Magianus from the countryside when he ran into you on the street. He knew he had no other choice but to get you out of there. He abandoned the original plan to help you. You swallow. So you're only here because he decided to save you rather than someone else? And if I had said no, what would have happened? They pause. But you didn't say no. Was that ever a consideration? You fall silent. You don't know if it was. You have potential, Rallo. I know it. I think you know it too. Why else are you here? With a short command to their horse, Sarah pulls fully into the lead. A couple of young wayfarers right nearby, holding torches, peering out into the dark. You can hear Sarah talking to his mare while Varen speaks to a couple riders nearby. Aaron must be asleep. The procession is slowing down, and the forest is even darker than before, and the woods have grown thicker. The path no longer looks like a path, but a tangled mess of overgrowth, fallen logs, and branches. Even the canopy is too thick to show much of the sky above. Had an interesting chat with Tifa back there, Zero says after a moment. She told us what happened with the Finaro, and Senric confirmed his part of the story. Your heart clenches. Did I do something wrong? The only thing you've done wrong so far is that you keep thinking you're in trouble when you're not. Varen and I need to know. She, Senric, and I are assessing your ability and intuition. You're a wayfarer now. You need a teacher. It's only a matter of deciding who. Varen already has an apprentice in Aaron, so it shouldn't be her unless she makes an excellent case for it. That being said, I know one of Senric's kids when I see one. You have the same instincts as him through and through. You will do well with him. Senric says you went hurling out of the woods and attacked the Finaro all on your own. You nod. Your instincts are good, Raylo. Exactly the kind most wayfarers are made of. Even when you don't follow orders, it's because you have a good reason not to. You know how to trust your gut, and I'd say that's even more valuable than doing what you're told. What Senric and Tifa told me shows that you're resourceful and adaptable. You take the situation at hand and then find a way to make it work for you. That takes nerve. That takes intelligence. Hold on to that. Adaptability will get you far in this world than anything else. You flush at the praise, swaying back and forth in the saddle. Your legs are sore. At least the snow has stopped. The squall must have moved on, and you're sure you'll see the stars again once you're out from under all these trees. You did well, Raylo. You became a wayfarer tonight. At last, the woods retreat. The path opens, and you ride out of the dark into an alpine valley. A great citadel rises before you. The massive black structure sits precariously atop of the slope, surrounded by steep cliffs. It looks out at the icy mountain above. It looks out at the icy mountains beyond. Its high battlements dusted with snow, slender barbed towers reach into the heavens, black against the starry night. On the side of a deep moat carved out of the hill, a large arched gate of black iron welcomes you. It looks menacing, a gate welcoming you into a dark abyss. This is it, the home of the Wayfarers? With an excited whoop, a handful of younger Wayfarers break away, charging down the path. They reach the gate and holler up to the gatehouse. A deep groaning sound echoes out through the valley, and the gate slowly opens. Light bursts from the walls as the rest of the procession spills through. Filling into a large courtyard, it glows with the inviting golden warmth, so much nicer than the cold, conjured light you're used to. You stare, mouth open, overwhelmed and fascinated by the lights and sounds. Fascinated by the sights and sounds. Apologize. There are people everywhere you look. Not just the members of the hunting party. There are wayfarers by the stables, wayfarers by the battlements, wayfarers on the steps to the Great Hall. There's a mix of ancestries and accents. They're from all over Resenia, maybe even farther in some cases. You can't help but be reminded of the company of mages, where they all seemed all alike despite their differences. The Wayfarers could not be more different. Laughter and chatter fill the courtyard as people greet each other with boisterous applause, slapping each other on the back and cheering as the word of the Fanarl's defeat is passed around. It's as if the whole citadel stayed awake to welcome them home. Somewhere along the way, someone helps you dismount, and you're left standing in the center of the courtyard, mouth open in awe. You can't stop thinking about the torches. No one in their right mind would light a place as big as this with torches and lanterns, but for a company of wayfarers with not a lick of magic in sight. You've never been anywhere like here before, somewhere with people like you. Human option. For the first time in your life, you're in a place where everyone is the same, but now that magic cannot divide you, you're comforted knowing there are so many other humans around. There is nothing unusual about them, just as there is nothing unusual about you. You had no idea so many wayfarers would be like you. There is something about the spire that calls to you. You can feel it. You smile. You haven't been this happy in a long time. I didn't think it would be so big. You turn to find Aaron standing beside you, head tilted back as he stares at the tower stretching far above. The southern lights have returned. They weave between the black spires as if they are encircling them. Now that you've had time to get a good look at it, the Great Hall is even more impressive than you thought. 6 stories high, with turrets and balconies jutting off from the higher floors. Its imposing windows are made of stained glass. The warmth of the flickering lantern glows within. I didn't either, you murmur, staring with them. A familiar voice coughs behind you. It was a long road, huh, kid? Senric says gruffly, joining you. As he looks at the flickering lights in the windows in the bustling courtyard, his surly expression softens. For the first time since you've met him, he no longer seems sullen and drained. He has returned home. Welcome to the Spire. You couldn't know that it would not stay this way forever. Prologue complete. The road was long and difficult, but you have reached the spire and prepared to undertake your training as a wayfarer. The choices you made during your journey left an impression on the Order's Archivist, Ambassador, and Grandmaster. After much deliberation, you were chosen by Master Rendon Senric. Sometimes thought to be a relic of the past, Rendon Senric's teachings were with the Order for 2 centuries prior to his collapse. Uncompromisingly stubborn, Senric insisted on thorough study and practical applications. As feature, he imparted you with a comprehensive battle study that can be applied to many situations, whether in combat or not. Attribute: Battle Master, +2 to strength and agility. Your time in the Wayfarer Order will teach you much. Over the years and course of your many journeys, you have honed your skills and proved yourself as one of the most experienced Wayfarers in recent history. Alright, so now we're going to be adding our skill points. Newest change to this update has made it to where you don't level up after each chapter anymore. So your skill points are all going to come from who your master is and what your background you selected is. So this choice is very important as of right now, unless Israel Games changes it in the future. So for my playstyle and kind of what I've remembered from when I last played, I'm gonna beef up my agility to 12. I want my perception to be 12. Strength 10. And that should do me good for now. Kind of want my strength to be higher, actually. But it's good to have good perception. Right at my strength 12. We're gonna be getting into a lot of fights out of choice, so alright, we'll confirm and continue. In the years since your recruitment, you have led what some may call an eventful life. You have obtained some tattoos and scars through your journey. So our first tattoo will be, where is it? Fifth one. I thought there was like a full right arm. Oh, that's left arm. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to decide how I want to. I will say the Wayfarer symbol tattoo does pop up later on if you choose to get this. Like I said earlier, your choices and how you build your character do come back on certain options in the story, so make sure you're aware of that. I want on my left. I thought there was one on the right arm too. Where's this one? Let's do the Wayfarer symbol. And you only get 2 tattoos. And we'll do the geometric line wrapping your arm. Actually, I kind of want to do the sea dragon. Now we'll do the geometric. Alright, as far as scars, we'll go with no scars. Alright, confirm. Alright. In the way of wayfarers of old, You can choose to take Cynric's surname upon your inauguration as a sign of respect, love, and admiration. This is a very old tradition and is no longer customarily followed. Changing your surname will lock you out of certain events tied to your origin. However, by adopting Cynric's name, you will unlock unique events related to him. The original surname will be recorded in your history. Usually, I go and adopt the surname of my mentor whenever I do my other playthroughs, but this time I'm going to keep my name. Alright, and now it's saying we have access to our journal, our inventory, along with other features. Like I said, this game is more like a choose your own adventure. It's not full rail type shooter, linear progression. You do have options on ways you can journey through the story. And that is the end of the prologue, and we move on to Act 1. Alright, so we're going to end off this part here. For one, this video's gotten kind of long. I just wanted to go through the prologue. Next time we will continue off when we left off here on episode 1 of Act 1, Conflict at Rona. I want to thank everybody who stuck with me through this very long video, and apologies for my reading. I'm terrible public speaker, and my enunciations could use a little bit more work. But all who stuck by and enjoyed the content, I appreciate you all for coming and going with me through this journey through Wayfarers. Hope you guys have a good night.